Today, I want to talk about the importance of Alyssa Liu's gold medal performance and the fact that she prioritized fun, did it her way, and won a gold medal. I want to talk about why this is so important, how to actually pursue your most fun life, even in the face of challenges. It's not about avoiding challenges, but learning how to love them. And I want to share a story about my experience and the thing that I found most helpful to really fall in love with the journey. And again, not because there are no challenges and that life becomes easy, but it's learning to work with those challenges and how to find love and joy in the process. So, if you don't know Alyssa Liu, she is a figure skater. She was in the Olympics at 16 years old, and I believe won bronze medal at 16. And she'd been ice skating all of her life, and it eventually just became not fun. It's incredibly competitive sport, as you can imagine, especially being a woman and making her eat and starve herself and be lighter and skinnier and having to do things in this intense environment the way everybody wants you to do them. She got to a point where this thing that she loved, figure skating, no longer was fun anymore. And she was burnt out and she wanted to stop. And she said, I am done. I don't want to do this anymore. I quit. I retire. And she went off to go live a an attempt at a normal kid's life. I think one of the big things she did was climb the Himalayan mountains or Mount Everest or some big mountain. So she's learning how to find joy in life again. And one day, she goes out ice skating and she lands like a double axel or triple axel or something crazy without really practicing. And it was just easy. It was effortless because ultimately she was having fun in her life again. And that fun flowed into her skating just in this moment where she wasn't even practicing, but was able to pull off this incredible skill as a figure skater. And that moment, she was like, I think I want to come back, but I want to come back to figure skating and I want to do it my way. It has to be my way. I refuse to wear what people want me to wear. I refuse to pick the songs that everyone else wants me to skate to. Like, I'm gonna wear what I want to wear. I'm going to skate to the songs I want to skate to, and most of all, I'm going to eat what I want to eat. And she literally says in her 60 Minutes interview, no one's going to make me starve. No one's going to tell me how much I can eat and can't eat. And the whole thing was prioritize fun in this new journey. And a big part of that pursuit for her was to let go of the need to win a gold medal. She let go of the need to win the gold medal, and she really focused on the really enjoying the journey. And all of this, she said, and I can play some clips, and maybe I'll play some clips throughout the story so you can hear her say it. So it's not just coming from me. You can hear her say all these things in the interview. So what we witness is her winning the gold medal and having so much fun in the process. I am not a figure skater. I don't watch a ton of figure skating, really only once in a while when it's on the Olympics. But man, you can watch that gold medal performance and you can see the flow. She is like floating. She is smiling the whole time. It is incredible. And then when she's done, she's like celebrating. She's so excited. She hasn't won gold yet, but she knows she just had the performance of a lifetime. It was incredible. And she gets off the ice and she is just so full of joy and love before ever knowing that she won the gold medal. And so the other day I make a video on Instagram about this journey and her enjoying the joy of it. And a lot of comments on the Instagram post. A lot of people love this, which is so great. But the biggest objection in the comments that I got was, yeah, but Matt, she had to suffer and she had to go all through this rigorous training and pain in order to get to where she was, to develop the skills, to become a great figure skater so that she could win the gold medal. So there's two core things I want to talk about here, which is one, we need to get clear on what the outcome actually is of living our lives. And two, this idea that we have around work and somewhere at the end of the day that there's going to be no suffering, that there's going to be no challenges in our life. But all of this is just an illusion. So the first thing is, what is the whole point of living? If the gold medal is what you think the outcome is, then you kind of are missing the whole point of this conversation. We live in this illusion as a society that someday, at the end of the line, we're going to arrive somewhere. We're going to achieve some tangible goal, like winning the gold medal, making $1 million, having 1 million Instagram followers. We're going to get to the end of this arrival point, and then we're going to have more access to love and joy and excitement. What Alyssa has taught us here is that she let go of the illusion that she was going to arrive at some gold medal. She wasn't doing this for the gold medal. She is embodying the practice of being fully present in the day to day and learning what it takes to actually find joy and become love in the journey, so that potentially, if she gets to the end of her life and she never wins a gold medal, she never makes $1 million, she never has 1 million Instagram followers, that she would be 80 years old and she would look back on life and she goes, wow, that was so much fun. That was so joyful, because it doesn't actually matter about winning the gold medal. We just think that the gold medal is going to make us feel happy. Or once we have the gold medal, then we have access to more joy, more love, more excitement. But again, you can watch her performance and you can see she is experiencing the most love and joy in the skating. She doesn't need the gold medal. When she's done with her performance, you can hear her joy and excitement when she gets off the ice. She doesn't need the gold medal to experience love and joy. But again, we are under this illusion that only if we win gold medals, only if we make $1 million, only if we have 1 million Instagram followers, only if we find the love of our life, then we have more access to this love and joy. This is actually what we are trying to do, because what we do, all of us humans, is that we do all of these things. We try to make more money. We try to get more Instagram followers. And we hope that once we get there, then we will have access to that love and joy. Ultimately, that's what we're always trying to do. We just want to experience the love and joy. And if all of our days and every single moment of our day is just love and joy and all of these positive emotions, then we would not need to go pursue things. We would just be like, that's the ultimate dream. We are just living constantly in love and joy. Now, I don't think that's possible. That's enlightenment, and I don't think anyone has ever reached enlightenment. Otherwise, they wouldn't need to be here in this human body and have this human experience. Their soul would have completed its process in our time on Earth, and then we would die, because we wouldn't need to have this human experience anymore. We would be enlightened. We would have learned all of our experiences, or all of our lessons. But that is the ultimate goal. We are trying to get to that place where every single moment of every single day is just love. That is really what Alyssa has taught us. Now, of course, I don't think she has gotten to that point, but she seems to be someone who is embodying that way better than the rest of us. And again, what she has done is she has actually learned to let go of that illusion. She's learned to let go of the illusion that if I win a gold medal, then I will experience more joy and love. She has literally said, I don't need the gold medal. I'm just enjoying the process. And so the other part of this illusion is that I'll get to this day with this tangible reward, and that I won't be experiencing any more challenges, any more struggles in life. That is also an illusion. You will never, unless you're fully enlightened, which again, I think if you were fully enlightened and never experiencing challenges or struggle, then you would die, because your soul will be complete here on earth. Until that day comes, we will be faced with challenges. It's not about not having challenges and struggles. It's learning how to shorten the time in which a challenge and a struggle becomes frustrating and causes fear and anxiety. It's learning how to take those challenges and shorten our experience of fear and anxiety, and get that and transmute the fear and anxiety into love and joy. And again, something it seems like Alyssa Liu has done really, really well. And from her 60 Minutes interview, she says, yes, I love the struggle. It makes me feel alive. The final statement I would make about this process is, again, in the struggles, there's a big difference between a fun life and an easy life. We don't actually want an easy life. If things are easy, we get complacent, we get really bored. But we have evolved, and there's a lot of studies done on like dopamine and all of this stuff. And I'm reading this book, The Art of Impossible, which I highly recommend if you're kind of into the more sciencey stuff. It talks about getting into flow state, but he talks about the dopamine, and we learn to evolve this way because it's what's kept us at the top of the food chain and allowed us humans to survive. Is we actually love challenges, and we just need to remember that we get to love challenges. We get to love the hard work, just like Alyssa does. And so again, this isn't about things being easy, but actually the challenges are the prerequisite to having more fun. People always tell you, well, you want to enjoy the journey, so do more of what you love. But it's not just about doing more of what you love. It's about improving. It's about getting better at what you love. And if you've ever been in flow state, if you're an athlete, you've ever been in flow state, like flow state is one of the best experiences in life because you're not thinking about the past, you're not worried about the future, you are fully engulfed in the moment. And the cool thing about flow state is, and this comes from The Art of Impossible, he says, we pay the most attention to the task at hand when the challenge of that task slightly exceeds our skill set. We want to stretch but not snap. So if we are too far on one end of that spectrum where it's too challenging, then we kind of have anxiety. We kind of snap, right? We like can't hold that. If it's too easy, we're bored. And so we want to find that middle ground where it's like a little bit challenging. That's what allows us to get into flow state. And again, you all know flow state where you're just like, you're fully engulfed in the moment. That is so much fun. So ultimately, that's what we're after. It's not about an easy life because that's boring. And it's not about stretching ourselves too far because then we're in anxiety and fear. We want to be somewhere in the middle where ultimately what I have found is that we find out what we truly love and are excited to get better at. Because again, life isn't just about doing the things you love, it's about getting better at the things you love. So figure out what you really love and go get better at that thing. And it's in those challenges where you really find a fun life. To summarize, and then I want to tell a story and a practice with you that I think will help you, and it's helped me a lot, transmute the fear and anxiety and frustration, all those negative emotions, into more positive emotions. Again, not because we will never experience them, we just want to shorten the time span that we go from negative emotions to positive emotions. So to kind of summarize that statement, which is Alyssa's ability to let go of the illusion that some award is going to give me access to joy, and what she has done is truly learn to access joy, love, and excitement in the process of just getting better at figure skating. Ultimately, that is the goal. The goal isn't to win gold medals. The goal is to feel joy and love and excitement. That's the ultimate end goal. And we are all just trying to accomplish these things to feel that way. But the illusion is that we can't feel that way right now, but we can. And that is the goal, not the gold medal. And I think it just so happens that the more you are love and joy and excitement, the universe is going to probably reward you with gold medals and beautiful things along the way. So now I'd like to tell you a story of what happens when you are in this pursuit and it does become frustrating. You do get these kind of negative emotions and you can't seem to move through them. What I've found to be some of the best work comes from internal family systems and doing parts work. You can look this up, and if you want a book on it, I would recommend No Bad Parts by Richard Schwartz. He's the one who came up with internal family systems. But ultimately, this is what I see a lot of the self-help books doing and talking about. Like I'm reading this book called Inner Work by Robert Johnson, and it's using dreams and active imagination for personal growth. And it's just another version of this. I think a lot of these self-help books are talking about the same thing. It's ultimately meeting these parts of you inside that are anxious and frustrated, and instead of pushing them away and trying to bulldoze your way through them and just think happy thoughts, spiritual bypassing, what everybody has found is that continuing to shove those parts of you away and ignore them and just try to bulldoze through and just think the happy thoughts doesn't actually work to transforming those parts. The anxious part of you will continue to exist until you meet it with love. And that's essentially the process. That what internal family system says is that internally you have all these parts of yourselves trying to play a role to hopefully get to the end goal, which is to feel love, joy, and excitement. So the question then becomes, how do we transmute these negative emotions and all this fear and all that stuff? How do we transmute that faster, more quickly into love and joy? My first experience with internal family systems, I was in therapy and I was playing baseball, and I had this part of me as a baseball player that I didn't like, but I couldn't seem to act differently on the baseball field. So why don't we just dive into the story and you'll learn and I'll explain it all as we go. So I'm playing men's league baseball, like real baseball, wood bats, all that stuff. And I'm pitching. And I'm a good pitcher. And unfortunately, I'm on not a very good team. And when I pitch, there tends to be a lot of errors. And errors happen, which is okay, but it's a lot of errors. And I end up having to, throw way more pitches and try to get way more outs than I should have to. And again, I'm okay with some errors, but at a certain point, the errors start to pile up and I get incredibly frustrated. And so that's a part of me. Frustrated Matt. Frustrated Matt starts to show up. And so let's say one of these games, I remember we're in the third inning and I'm pitching way more than I have to because there's a lot of errors. And then one person makes an error in this inning. And instead of going and backing up one of the bases like I should and fielding my position, I'm behind the mound and I'm like pounding my glove and I'm pissed. And then, 5 seconds go by and I'm acting all frustrated. And then I'm like, oh crap, I got to go back up with the base and feel my position. And it's already a little bit too late and the ball goes wild, another error, and I'm out of position because I got frustrated. And then, runners advance to the next base and the team scores a run. And it's like, shoot, like that's not okay. And then another error happens, and then yeah, I'm like pounding my glove and just acting like pissed. And I know that this part of me, it's like if I'm a Major League Baseball player and the cameras are on me, I don't want like kids seeing me, and if I'm their influence, they're seeing me act all frustrated. Like that's not the kind of guy I want to be. I want to be a more grounded guy, and I don't want to be experiencing this frustration. I would love to play the whole game where I'm calm, cool, collected, relaxed because not only is that how, yeah, sure, that's how I want people to see me, but also, again, I just want to experience more joy. I want the game of baseball to be fun the whole time. But if errors are always happening and I allow this part of me, this frustrated part of me to show up and just be annoyed, like baseball ends up not being very fun. So I want to learn how to transmute this frustrated part of me so that I could just, no matter what happens on the baseball field, I can be calm, cool, grounded, relaxed. I can field my position. And if cameras were on me, like people, like kids would, see me as a good role model. All of these things. I want all of these things to happen. And I just can't seem to transform this part of me that's frustrated. Like I'm aware of it, but he always comes up at a certain point in every baseball game. And so I was doing parts work. I was doing these internal family systems and therapy one time. And what we did is instead of like being annoyed with the frustrated part of me and wanting it to go away and saying like, fuck you, I hate you, you're annoying, like stop, I don't want you to be here. I want to be a better, a better person on the baseball field. Instead, we met that part of me. And I got familiar with that part of me and I got lovingly curious with this part. And as I started to ask this we call it frustrated Matt. And as I started to close my eyes and envision this frustration, started attuned to the feelings of my body, I could picture myself on the baseball mound being really frustrated with these errors. And so I had a conversation with this frustrated part of me and I asked it what it wanted. And I will kind of fast forward through the whole process, but essentially what we did is we got lovingly curious, no judgment. I just wanted to know what this frustrated part of me wanted. And so we asked it and we said, hey, frustrated Matt, let's say being really annoyed, pounding your glove, like let's say that was working. What do you hope to have happen as your teammates witness you pounding your glove and being really upset? And he was basically like, I hope my teammates see how much I care. I want them to know that I'm trying really hard. I want them to know that I really care about this game and I want us to do better. And it's like, great. If they see that you really care, what do you hope happens then? It's like, well, then they would come up to me and they would cheer me on. They'd be like, hey, Matt, like, we love you. You're pitching so great. Like, keep up the great work. It's like, okay, so really what you want is love, right? And so this goes back to our beginning conversation. The end goal of all of this is that we probably just want more love. We want more excitement. We want more joy. And so I asked frustrated Matt, I'm like, okay, so you just want more love. You want to be supported by your teammates. Is like pounding your glove working, do you feel? Like, do you feel like that's working, getting you love? And, no judgment again. No judgment on frustrated Matt. But I just wanted to know if he thinks it's working. And he goes, no, I don't think it is working. It seems to be the case that when I pound my glove and everyone sees how frustrated I am, that they notice that and they give me space. They actually don't talk to me. They don't talk to me at all. They don't come up to me in the dugout. They give me space and nobody says a word to me. And I'm like, okay, so you think pounding your glove and acting frustrated will, like, what you really want for them is to like pat you on the butt and lift you up. But what's actually happening is they're giving you space. And anybody who plays sports might know this, especially in baseball when you're like really in charge of the flow of the game as the pitcher. If you're frustrated, people give you space. It's not often people are trying to give you like a pep talk. That's usually not the thing people do. They give you space, right? Okay, so I've said that enough. So I go, okay, frustrated Matt. Is there anything you want to try something different since pounding your glove doesn't seem to be working? Would you like to try something different? And now this happens to be a part of myself that is really easy to converse with. And this isn't always the case with these parts of you. Sometimes you need to ease into this conversation. But this part of me was super open to getting feedback. and having this conversation. So it happened really fast. And that's not always the case. Again, you might need many of these conversations. It just happened to be the case that I was actually able to transform this part of me really quickly. And he was really open to chatting. And he's like, yeah, I would really love, I'm really open to trying something different. And instead of me telling him what to do, like a frustrated, annoyed parent, I asked him what he would want to do. And I said, well, what would you want to do? And he says, I think next time somebody makes an error, or he says, I would like to show up as a leader. And I'm like, that's cool. What would a leader do in some of these situations? He's like, yeah, well, maybe next time somebody makes an error, I would cheer them on. Like I would just go crazy and like hype them up. And I'm like, cool, I love that. Anything else? And he's like, yeah, I think I would put on a smile. Like I would take a deep breath and I would smile uh, right before I get on the mound for the next pitch. I'm like, cool, we can take deep breaths and we could smile. I like that. Anything else? He's like, no, that seems pretty cool. So I'm like, great, we're going to do that next baseball game. And so this part of me, we don't abandon him. Next baseball game, I took him with me. I made sure I created space to check in with him. So I'm pitching. Inevitably, there's a lot of errors. I can feel this frustrated part come up. I probably acted out a little bit, but I created awareness. I noticed that. And I said, oh, shoot. Like, we were going to do something different. Oh, yeah. This is my chance to do something different. Okay, on the next error, if that happens, make sure we lift up our teammates. We cheer for them. So, of course, inevitably, another error happens. And I turn to my teammate, Jose, at third base. I'm like, Jose, it's okay. You are a brick wall, dude. You got this. Like, I trust you. You're going to get the next grounder. Let's go. And he looks at me and he kind of smiles. He was like, he was ashamed. He was upset at himself for making an error, but he looks at me and he smiles. And he's like, yeah, all right, Matt. Like, let's go. And so we get out of that inning. And so I transform. And even with that, I stepped on the mound. I took a deep breath. I smiled. I'm like, I'm going to throw a strike here. Let's fucking go. And I was feeling really good. So already really fast, I am transforming this part of me. I'm no longer frustrated. I'm no longer gripping the ball so tight and throwing erratic pitches, but I'm also pitching better because I'm feeling more joy in that moment. So it's already working, which is great. Internally, it's already working. But here's the best part. We get out of the inning, we start running in so we can take our at bat, and people start coming up to me. They start tapping my butt, and they're like, let's go, Matt. You're pitching amazing. We're going to get these runs back. Let's fucking go. And so just like that, I don't even remember if we scored runs. It doesn't even matter. Just like that, I transform this part of me. He starts showing up as a leader more positively. And then I start getting the love. The frustrated Matt starts getting the love he was trying to get originally by slamming his glove. He is now getting that love through this new process that we got to do together. And then at the end of the game, here's even the cooler part. At the end of the game, I remember the game ends. We probably lost. It doesn't even matter. But it was a more fun game. I'm taking my cleats off in my dugout, and a player from the other team runs over. He goes, hey, pitcher. I go, what's up? He goes, hey, man, I just wanted to say amazing pitching. Your curveball is insane. Like, dude, you're such a good pitcher. And I'm like, oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. And we pound in between the fence of the dugout, and he runs away. And it's like, oh, my, like, that never happened. Somebody from the other team ran all the way over at the end of the game. Not when we were, like, in the handshake line. After the handshake line, he came and ran all the way over just to say how good of a pitcher I was. So just like that quickly, I was able to transform this part of me. And now, yeah, he comes up sometimes still during baseball, but it's my opportunity to create awareness, check in with him. Hey, remember, you said you would like to cheer on your teammates more. You said you would like to take a deep breath and smile before each pitch. So let's make sure we're doing that. And now, it's not 100% automatic, but it's like 90% automatic that now when I play baseball, frustration rarely happens. I'm just out there having the time of my life. And I think that's what Alysa Liu has been doing. And so I highly recommend No Bad Parts is a great book to start with, but Google it, YouTube it, learn about it. But ultimately what this is checking in with these parts of you who are frustrated, anxious, afraid, all of that. Instead of pushing them, ignoring them, trying to bulldoze your way through it with mantras and affirmations and spiritually bypassing, you would actually take a deep breath and you would check in. And it's a practice, but it is loving curiosity towards these parts of you and asking them if what they're doing is working. No judgment, I'm just curious. And I'm curious if you'd like to do things a little bit differently. And what do they want to do? And then you get to take them on this journey with you in the process, in the pursuit of doing things and getting better at the things you love. In that pursuit, when you are faced with challenges, you get curious with the parts of you that are frustrated about it. and you check in with them. And then you continue to take them on the journey and you try to update your strategies on the way you're doing things. And if things aren't working, there's infinite options. There's infinite things you could do differently. Instead of yelling at your partner, instead of getting defensive, you could be more curious with them. Instead of getting defensive with your partner, you could ask them if they want to dance. You could ask them more questions. Like there's infinite things you could do. Let those parts of you decide. And that is what I have found to be one of the most helpful things along this journey to having more fun and more joy in life. And so I hope this is helpful for you. This is not about hoping that the gold medal will give me access to joy and love. It's learning how to transmute the frustrated and anxious and fearful parts of yourself in the moment so that you can shorten the time that you're experiencing these negative emotions and transmute them into loving ones. That is the goal of life. And then your automatic state, 99% of the time, gets to become love and excitement and joy and zest and wonder and awe. It gets to become all these positive emotions. But it takes a bit of practice and using parts work in the moment to experience more joy and love. Then you're just always vibrating with joy and love. And that's what I have found is that I said this in the previous episode that I'm no longer like chasing my goals. My goals are actually chasing me. All of this stuff just starts to come in more effortless because my goals and the things that I want are probably vibrating with more love, joy, and abundance. And instead of me chasing those and hoping that one day I'll get those things that give me access to love and joy, I just become love and joy. And then those goals that also have that energy are like, oh, we want to be friends with you. We want to be part of you. And so they just start coming in. And I think that's what Alyssa alluded. And I think that's what we all get to do. It is in this journey of enjoying the struggles, enjoying the challenges, learning to transmute the negative emotions into positive ones so that that becomes the automatic reframe. And then you actually get to experience all these positive emotions. And then when you're 80 years old, you get to look back on life and go, man, that was fun. It didn't even matter if I won the gold medal or any of that stuff. It didn't matter if I had 1 million Instagram followers. Like I truly loved the journey. And if you can do that, it's probably likely a lot of amazing things are going to flow into your life because of that. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.